好，各位同學大家好，咁呢段片咧就會同大家分析一下2020年 DSE 文憑試英文作文嘅9條題目嘅。咁今日用到嘅材料咧係會兩個嘅，第一個咧就係一個嚟自 DSE 官方嗰本嘅藍色嗰本嘅 past paper 啦。咁我就用 Word 打好咗嗰9條題目，咁啊方便同大家分析嘅。咁另一樣咧就係有啲範文，咁啊範文嚟自邊本書咧？就係嚟自一個出版社叫做 Joint Us 嘅一個出版社嘅。咁啊嗰本書其實就喺書局端揾到嘅，係好厚嘅，我諗1000零版啦，就係紫色封面嘅。咁啊就會有齊 DSE 咁多屆嘅歷屆試題同嘅答案啦。咁我覺得嗰本嘢其實好抵買嘅，因為其實嗰本嘢都只係80蚊左右，但其實有齊咁多屆 DSE 嘅 past paper 嘅答案啦，甚至係範文啦。咁你計下，咁而家已經有9年嘅 past paper 啦，9981，咁其實你80蚊都唔使已經買到81篇範文翻嚟讀咧，即係一個好抵嘅價錢嚟嘅。咁所以都鼓勵大家買啦。咁啊，其實都唔係侵權嘅，只不過係純粹係我買本書，咁我想 scan 一啲嘅範文嚟同大家分析一下點解佢可以寫得咁好啦，咁樣。咁所以咧都鼓勵大家去書局買翻本正版嘅 ，OK。咁啊，事不宜遲，咁我哋就開始啦。2020年第一條，咁咧就係好特別啊！係一個餐廳嘅一個評價。咁啊，其實咧 review 就唔係一樣新嘅嘢嚟嘅，因為咧喺2019年咧，如果你有認真去讀過啲題目嘅話咧，其實有一條題目咧就已經係個 review 嚟嘅。咁嗰個題目咧就係你係睇嗰個新嘅電影啦，係 Cinderella 啦，係改編嚟嘅。咁你就要講下嗰個電影嘅一啲觀感啊咁樣啦。咁其實即係如果你係有留心去讀過 past paper 嘅話咧 ，review 唔係一個新嘅一個 genre 嚟嘅。咁啊不過我相信有好多考生都會忽略咗呢一個嘅 genre 啦。咁我哋睇一睇個題目咯喎。咁啊佢話You finally got the chance to eat at Hong Kong's hottest new restaurant, Dim Sum One. Write a review for Eat and Drink, an online food guide that allows users to write their own reviews. OK， 咁啊，即係咧嗱，你係一個嘅用家 ，OK， 你係一個食家啦。咁你係試過呢一個餐廳叫 Dim Sum One 啦。咁啊話明 Dim Sum One，咁梗係佢個賣點梗係賣點心啦，係咪先？咁啊睇下你對點心有幾多認識啦。咁啊同埋佢係 hottest new restaurant 啦，咁即係好多人都試過啦，同埋佢係個新嘅餐廳嚟嘅。咁啊你係要寫 eat and drink 啦，咁啊係一個 online food guide，咁啊即係其實類似係 OpenRice 咁樣嘅嘢，唔知你有冇聽過 OpenRice 啦？咁不過佢係一個類似一個 app 咁樣嘅 app 或者網站啦，咁佢就會有好多餐廳。咁啲人就可以留評價嘅，即係你讚好啊、唔讚好啊、幾多星啊、上咗啲相啊咁樣。咁啊嗰啲讀嘅人咧，即係嗰啲 target readers 咧，就係其他都係想揾好嘢食嘅人嘅。OK， 咁啊因為佢係一個即係用後評價啦，咁所以其實佢唔係一個好官方嘅一個 article 嚟嘅，係可以好 semi-formal 都 OK 嘅。OK， 同埋可以用嗌啦。OK。今日有2個 bullet point 嘅，咁啊點解DSE 2019年開始有2個 bullet point 咧？咁我不厭其煩再講一講啦。咁其實咧，如果你係由2012年開始讀起咧，嗰啲 past paper 咧，以前咧係冇咁樣一個 bullet point 咁樣去分嘅。咁但係點解而家有咧？其實就係因為你 DSE 嘅考生咧話就係話係會考同埋A level 嘅中間啦，其實。坦白講，論能力嚟講咧，點都係唔夠以前 A level 嘅考生咁勁。咁所以其實有好多學生咧係連審題都有問題，即係連寫咩格式又唔知啊，連寫幾多個 point 又唔知啊咁樣。咁所以咧，咁啊考評局為咗幫啲弱嘅考生咧，就將嗰啲point 就一點咁列出嚟咧，就方便你知道有幾多個 point 你要答。咁啊，所以就係點解會有咁多 point 啊 ？OK， 好，咁佢話 write about what you like, what you didn't like, and if you would recommend this restaurant。咁啊，即係3嚿嘢啦。你中意食乜嘢？唔單止食乜嘢喎？ 你中意食乜嘢啦？你中唔中意佢嘅服務啦？你中唔中意佢嘅即係個環境啦，同埋中唔中意佢個價錢？咁啊，其實好多嘢可以寫嘅，同埋你會唔會推薦間餐廳俾其他人啦？咁啊 ，you can choose to write about any of the following in your review。咁其實佢話 choose any， 咁你都冇理由淨係講嘢食噶嘛。咁即係例如，如果嗰個餐廳嘅嘢食好好食，但係好污糟嘅，周圍都係曱甴老鼠嗰啲，你都唔會食啦，係咪先？咁啊，同埋你留意佢係一個 hottest new restaurant 喎，即係好多人想去試喎。咁即係其實你點都要有啲吸引人嘅地方先會好多人去試嘅嘛。咁當然你都可以話哦，其實好多人都想試呢間餐廳，但我見唔到個亮點喺邊度咯。其實我覺得呢間餐廳好差，都 OK 嘅。咁啊，但係我建議大家其實呢四樣嘢都講埋就 OK。咁同埋嗱，留意有啲嘢又係呢個餐廳其實佢呢一個嘅題目咧係冇講到，但係啲 hidden requirement 嘅，即係例如你有機會去試嗰間餐廳啦。例如你會話你等咗幾耐啊？即係會係排隊啊定訂位啊？又或者間餐廳喺邊一個區啊？間餐廳係賣乜嘢嘅種類嘅食物啊？咁雖然佢話點心啫，但佢都可以係我唔知啦，係咪啊？Beijing 嘅點心啊，定係唔知邊度嘅點心啦？咁你要講清楚，可能係 Chinese cuisine 咁樣啦。咁啊，有好多 hidden requirement 啦。咁啊，睇下我哋篇範文點樣講咯噃。好，好，咁咧就呢個啦。Dim sum 1 type of cuisine Chinese dim sum best for children, family, business for special occasions. After its inaugural opening in Hong Kong, Dim Sum 1 has created a buzz in the city. Many dim sum lovers, me included, are especially excited for as the brand is one of the oldest and most acclaimed in Guangdong. Founded by the Chan family in the 1940s, it is renowned for its delicious cuisine and authentic traditional yum cha experience. 咁啊，留意咧，其實佢就一開始就已經講咗啲重點啦。Created a buzz， 即係有啲聲音啦，因為可能好好食啦。咁啊佢係 one of the oldest 啦，其中一個最老嘅餐廳啦，同埋一個最享譽盛名嘅一個餐廳喺廣東。咁啊，搭咗喺邊度嚟啦？咁啊，係由陳氏家族咧1940年創立嘅。咁啊，有啲乜嘢咧？就係好食啦，同埋佢嗰個飲茶嘅 experience 啦。即係佢第一段咧已經係好清晰咁講咗好多 requirement， 係好多考生都講唔到啊。即係好多考生咧講到最尾都講唔到呢個餐廳喺邊一區啊，或者邊度嚟啊，又或者幾時創立啊？呢啲都好緊要嘅。OK。Last week I got the chance to visit the restaurant, proudly situated in Wan Chai, one of the busiest districts in Hong Kong. The restaurant stood out because of its extravagant design in the style of a traditional Chinese pavilion. 嗱 extravagant design 啦，講咗個environment 啦已經。According to the leaflet provided by the waitress, the new shop in Hong Kong has inherited its style from the flagship store in Guangdong, 係旗艦店啊。The store's iconic dragon and phoenix sculptures, now on display in the Guangdong branch, have also been replicated and placed in the Hong Kong store as decorations. The quaint and antique ambience will certainly impress clients and friends, foreign and local alike. 咁啊，呢一個成 part 都係講個 environment 啦。Of course, the food had to be praiseworthy. 咁啊，講食物咯喎呢度。The steamed soft white bun filled with caramelized pork pieces was an absolute gem. Fluffy and pillowy, the bun embraces the lips and tongue with its soothing texture. 喂，我想講，你識唔識叉燒包英文係乜嘢啊？就係 steamed soft white bun filled with caramelized pork pieces 啊。咁啊，當然你寫 pork chop bun 都 OK 嘅，咁啊，但係呢個係高級啲咯 OK。Fluffy and pillowy, the bun embraces the lips and okay. The caramelized pork pieces, meanwhile, had a remarkable savory sweet flavor, juicy but not sticky in the mouth. Other dishes such as prawn dumplings and chicken feet in vinegar sauce. 咁啊，有呢個蝦餃啦，同埋有呢個鳳爪啦。Were also excellent, showcasing the essence of traditional Cantonese dim sum. Most notably, the restaurant has incorporated local ingredients and flavors into the dishes. The egg tart puddings and egg waffles were a pleasant blend of local street food and dim sum. 咁啊，其實都幾好啊，佢都講到起碼4樣嘢啦。咁啊，其實 2020年呢條係 compulsory questions 啊嘛。答呢條題目嘅學生最大問題係乜嘢咧？其實佢哋根本就唔識寫嗰啲點心嗰啲名，嚟嚟去去都係燒賣啊、fish ball 啊咁樣，其實好悶啊！啲 marker 見到你明唔明啊？啲 marker 要 mark 4萬份卷嘅，啲4萬份卷有3萬都係點心，都係咩燒賣啊、fish ball 啊、egg tart 啊嗰啲，好鬼悶啊！明白啊？咁啊呢個就好啦，咁啊識講蝦餃啦，識講鳳爪啦，係咪啊？咁啊識講呢個呢個雞蛋仔啊 ，OK。Having said that, the high prices may put some people off 啦，咁啊講價錢啦。It is therefore not surprising that the visitors observed were mainly tourists or families gathering for special occasions. Nonetheless, considering the ingredients used, the environment and food quality, it's fair to say that the food is not overpriced. However, the service and the waiters' attitude could be improved. Okay. The waiters might have been under a lot of pressure due to the influx of visitors during the promotion period. Some of them behaved impatiently when dealing with inquiries from waiting customers. This was a shame, as it was the only negative aspect of an otherwise positive experience. Nonetheless, dim sum one is a perfect option for family celebrations, business dinners, and food lovers. I strongly recommend the restaurants to people looking to feast on scrumptious dim sum creatively integrated with local flavors 啦。咁啊，其實都講得好啦。咁啊，呢篇嘢係有講佢中意啲咩啦 ，what you like， 有講 what you didn't like。咁啊 ，like 嘅就係嗰個 environment 同埋個 food 啦，唔 like 嘅就係個 price 同埋個 service 啦。咁啊，然後最尾就嗰段就係講話 I strongly recommend for 咩 people， 其實已經係完全達到晒嗰個題目嘅要求㗎啦。咁啊，至於你問我使唔使我都寫一段好詳細，寫點解 recommend 咧，其實係唔需要嘅，因為你寫邊食評，如果你睇邊 authentic 嘅食評，你都唔會寫一大段話點解 recommend 啦，因為佢講佢中意啲咩唔中意咩嘅時候，已經解釋咗點解佢 recommend 定唔 recommend 啦，係咪先？咁所以呢個係 OK 嘅，咁同埋留意佢係好醒啦，又講到啲 hidden requirement 啦，即係例如喺邊一區啊，喺咩地方嚟啊，幾時創立啊？佢中意食乜嘢，佢又會講到好多食物嘅名稱啦，咁好多考生都講唔到啦。同埋唔中意嘅嘢，其實佢都幾巧妙嘅。OK， 佢有俾啲解釋嘅，即係可能侍應態度差，就係話佢可能好忙啦。今日價錢貴，可能就因為佢嗰啲嘢食好食啦咁樣。咁所以其實 overall 都幾 balance 嘅，同埋都係有 observe 到一啲影評食評嘅一啲嘅 language features 啦，I 啊、me 啊嗰啲啦 ，OK， 咁所以呢篇嘢係寫得非常之好嘅。好，第二條咧就係都幾多人揀嘅 popular culture， 咁啊就係關於 IG 啦，有好多地方就好多人影相啦。Some of Hong Kong's housing estates have become extremely popular places to take Instagram photos。咁啊咧係針對呢個屋邨啊。Okay. As part of a class assignment, you interview Instagrammers and residents as a housing estate which has been listed as one of the top 10 places in Hong Kong to take Instagram photos. Write an essay for your assignment. 咁啊 essay 啦。咁啊你係 class assignment， 即係你寫俾你嘅老師啦。咁啊同2019年某一條題目咧係好似嘅，都係寫 essay 嘅。OK， 如果冇記錯應該係講international talent 嗰條啊，咁又係寫個 essay 俾你個老師噶嘛，係咪？咁啊留意嘅受眾係你個老師啦，咁就唔好話用啲太 informal 嘅 language 啦。好啦，咁啊內容講咩咧？第一 part explain what attracts Instagrammers to Hong Kong's housing estate， 呢個第一樣嘢啦，留意係多過一個啦。第二個How residents feel about this 兩個啦，咁因為你訪問過一個嗰啲 Instagrammer 同埋 residents 啊嘛，咁所以咧其實你理論上咧 Instagrammer 點解去嗰度咧，應該你加落去第一個 point 嗰度啦 ，resident 嘅意見應該加落第二個 point 嗰度啦，同埋佢話多過個 estate 啊嘛，咁你可以講下話彩虹邨啊，又或者呢個益昌大廈咁樣，係啦。咁呢兩個地方啦，咁另外其實香港都有好多地方都係好 popular 嘅，即係例如可能而家因為呢條題目係2020年啊嘛，咁啊應該嗰陣時應該有冇環外咧？ 我唔係好記得啦。不過我諗而家屯門都可能係嗰個 popular 嘅 spot for taking Instagram photos 啦。咁屯門有好多 housing estates，因為幻愛呢部電影都好流行啦。咁啊，另外其實都好多嘅 housing estates 都係好多人去影相嘅。咁啊，我相信各位同學仔應該會熟過我嘅，咁所以我都唔多講啦。咁啊，睇下篇範文係點樣啦。OK， 好，咁咧就係咁嘅。呢個係個 essay 啊，需要個題目啦，佢就冇提你啦。今年19年係有提你要寫題目嘅。咁啊，各位同學仔要醒目啦。argumentative essay 其實都需要係寫一個title 嘅。咁啊，甚至係 feature article 都需要一個 title 嘅。咁啊 speech 又係一個 title 嘅。咁啊，基本上你寫一個類似一個即係文章咁樣嘅格式咧，其實你都係 expected to write a title 嘅。OK。好 ，Beyond the photogenic housing estates, a case study of Choi Hong Estates and Yik Chong Building. With the rising popularity of Instagram, more and more people have been steadily exploring Instagrammable spots in the packed city of Hong Kong. Surprisingly, high-rise housing estates seen everywhere in the enclave, though long accused of blocking the city's views, have become popular backdrops for Instagrammers, local and international alike. To understand the phenomenon, 2 Instagrammers and residents were interviewed about both the charms of these residential blocks and the impacts of this phenomenon on their residents. OK 嗱，咁啊呢一 part 咧就係講一講呢一個嘅general 嘅 background 啦，即係而家 Instagram 係越嚟越流行啦。咁啊好多人都喺香港度揾一啲好正嘅 Instagram 嘅 spot 啦。咁啊即係呢一個嘅 introduction 係好經典啦。首先你講一個 general background 先，跟住然後咧你可能就講一講一啲正面負面嘅嘢啦，呢一 part 啦。OK， 即係再深入少少講到香港啦。咁啊一開始就話呢啲地方咧就係 block 咗 city's views 啦，而家就係 popular backdrop 就係而家好流行嘅背景啦。然後咧就講一講呢篇文章嘅一個目的啦。OK， 個目的咧就係你要了解呢個情況啦。咁啊訪問咗2個人啦，然後就你想知道個 charms of these residential blocks 點解咩咁吸引啦，同埋有啲咩影響嘅對於嗰個residents。OK， 好。The most obvious reason for the craze for housing estate snapshots is the colorful appearance and geometric patterns. 點解咁吸引啊？第一就係佢哋嘅好豐富嘅顏色啦，同埋佢哋嘅好規律性嘅一個style。OK。One of the most well-known photogenic housing estates, for instance, is Choi Hong Estate in Wong Tai Sin District, the name of which means rainbow in English. Its exterior wall is painted in rainbow colors, each floor a different color. Athena, an Instagram goddess with over 1,000 followers, believes that vibrant colors attract followers' eyeballs and help her post to stand out. Meanwhile, Yik Chong Building in Quarry Bay, better known among young people as the Monster Building, demonstrates the power of geometric patterns. Unlike Choi Hong Estate, the building appears more battered and less pleasing to the eyes. However, with careful use of perspective and composition, it transforms into a surreal postmodern scene. In Athena's works, it looks as if one is surrounded by a big prism rising into the sky. Angel, another Instagrammer, also noted that the angle of the photo makes a big difference to the final image. In the case of the Monster Building, a low-angle shot is best for capturing the dystopian feel of the scene. She also opined that pioneer photographers contribute a lot to the popularity of the Instagram spot as they find the best interpretation of the colors and patterns by experimenting with different angles and edits. Yet both agree that the most important factor is that the housing estate should have eye-catching colors and pattern in the first place. 好啦，咁留意咧，其實佢完全達到嗰個目的嘅。OK， 咁啊，首先佢係有訪問到啲 Athena 啦，同埋有Angel 啦，係咪啊 ？Both agree that 啦 ，she also 啦。咁啊，因為你話 篇嘢係你訪問咗啲 Instagram 啊嘛，咁當然你係 expected to quote 佢哋嘅説話啦。咁啊，然後你成篇嘢都喺度 prove 緊呢個 colourful appearance 同埋 geometric patterns 係點樣可以吸引到人啦，係咪？今日其實都已經講得好好啦 ，rainbow colours 啊 ，attract followers eyeball。OK。咁啊，有呢個嘅可能 monster building 啊 ，dystopian view 啊，跟住然後係 eye-catching colours and patterns 啊咁啦。好，另一個非常之清晰嘅 topic sentence 啊。Another reason for the attractiveness of housing estates may be nostalgia for old Hong Kong. Public housing estates like the Choi Hong Estate represent the struggle of grassroots Hong Kongers to find affordable housing in Hong Kong, where property prices have soared in recent decades. Its spacious open-air basketball court, where most Instagrammers take their photos, is also the site of collective childhood memories. 我哋揀一揀啲重點嘅字眼啦。你留意到咧，其實佢係又講啲草根階層嘅掙扎啦、集體嘅童年回憶啦，呢啲都係一啲好正嘅 terms 去講點解呢個彩虹村咁受歡迎。今日又係 Athena 啦。As Athena puts it, it is a symbol of the bygone era with no online entertainment， 即係沒有網絡的世界。OK， when children made friends in the neighborhood by playing ball games on the court。When asked to account for the popularity of these buildings, Mrs. Chang 咁啊講下啲住客啦。A middle-aged resident from Yik Chong building provided similar answers. Yik Chong is a tenement building on Hong Kong Island. The ground floor of the giant structure is still lined with stores reminiscent of old Hong Kong。原來有啲咧舊嘅鋪頭啊 ，OK， 即係標鋪嗰啲啊 ，selling everything from dried seafood to hardware and Chinese herbal tea。Which Mrs. Chan believes reminds visitors of the Hong Kong of the childhood. OK， 可以回面翻佢哋童年嘅香港。Angel agreed, quoting a Korean Instagrammer she met at Yik Chong, who said that the old and chaotic monster building conveys the essence of Hong Kong, where life can be stressful and hectic, but also rich in tradition and community. OK， stressful, hectic, tradition, community， 咁完全係 nostalgia， 好懷念啊，懷舊啊。OK。好，咁啊，之後講下影響啦。OK。Although these housing estates may inspire photographers and Instagrammers, Instagram tourism can also cause inconvenience to the residents of these buildings, especially during the night， 會為呢個住客帶嚟不便啊。又係一個非常之清晰嘅 topic sentence 啦。陀仔，如果你想寫一啲 argumentative essay 嘅話，或者 essay 嘅話咧，或者narrative editor 嘅話咧，一定要寫個清晰嘅 topic sentence， 咁樣咧係會幫到你嘅 organisation 同埋 content 好多嘅。Mrs. Chan recalls several nights when she could not fall asleep because the crowd taking photographs on the podium was too noisy. This is particularly a problem at Yik Chong building, which is famous for its night view. While Mrs. Chan understands the excitement of visitors, she believes they should follow certain rules to ensure that they cause minimum nuisance to residents who live in the building and may need to work the next day. In fact, many popular housing estates have posted notice requesting a quiet environment for those living in the buildings. However, visitors seem to find it difficult to observe these rules. Tom, a 14-year-old living in Choi Hong Estate, pointed out that he has often seen people leaving food and litter on the basketball court. This not only increases the workload of the estate's cleaners, but has also led to residents feeling angry at the people invading their living space. 咁啊有啲咩嘅唔方便咧？第一就嘈啦。第二就係留低垃圾啦，咁啊令到啲住客覺得啲人喺度入侵緊佢哋嘅一個屋企咁樣啦。好，繼續啦。今日第二段又係一個好清晰嘅 topic sentence 啦。To underprivileged residents living in those housing estates, like Tom and Mrs. Chen, the impacts of the phenomenon are not limited to the nuisance caused。唔單止係滋擾啊，呢個係承上，跟住呢個就係啟下啦。Their main concern is the glorification of poverty， 即係去歌頌啊，去歌頌呢個貧窮。According to Mrs. Chen,
Most visitors only pay attention to the appearance of the building, focusing on the composition and angles of the photographs while ignoring their context. 忽略咗個背景。The lives and struggles of people living in the buildings are often blurred, if not ignored. While foreign tourists may feel that they have delved into local culture by visiting these residential buildings, they overlook the deep-rooted issue of wealth disparity, 貧富不分. In one of the most glamorous cities in Asia, Tom had first-hand experience of bringing classmates from affluent families to the estate and being asked why the rainbow paint was peeling off and why there were no air-conditioned shelter nearby. 哇！帶啲有錢嘅同學仔嚟啦，就問點解啲顏色甩啊，又冇冷氣咁樣，傻的嘛？Sadly, this lack of understanding is just the tip of the iceberg. 只係冰山一角。While the popularity of these Instagram spots celebrates the impressive architecture of housing estates and the unique cityscape of Hong Kong, it failed to raise public awareness about the welfare of the building's resident. 咁啊，又係一個好好嘅一個 concluding sentence 啦。好啦，咁啊，其實我哋冇乜點樣去了解到呢個 public awareness。OK， 到底嗰個 residents 嘅福利係點咧？ In identifying new opportunities and possibilities for tourism in Hong Kong, the city should also consider providing public education for local and international visitors through TV advertisement, travel leaflets, and signage so that the housing estates serve not only as the backdrop for the photo, but also as an educational venue that increases people's empathy and understanding towards the underprivileged. 咁啊，最尾就有啲建議sorry 嚇。咁最尾有啲建議啦。多數啲 essay 都係咁樣嘅，或者最尾啲議論文都係有啲呼籲行動 call for action 啊。咁啊，政府可以整啲 TV advertisement 等啲人例如咩 leaflet 啊、signage 啊，咁啊，即係啲人了解下嗰個 Instagram spot 嘅歷史啦。It is hoped that future Instagrammers will focus their cameras not only on the architecture, but also on the stories of the people within. 咁啊，留意咧，因為呢個 essay 啊嘛，呢個係一個 formal writing 嚟㗎嘛。咁就唔好寫 I hope that 啦，咁你就寫 It is hope that 啦。留意唔好寫 I hope that 啦。咁呢個又係一個香港考生常犯嘅錯誤啦。其實好簡單嘅啦，只要你考慮一下嗰個受眾係邊一個，你就唔會亂寫嘢㗎啦。咁啊，呢篇嘢係寫俾你個老師㗎嘛，咁即係其實你要一個 formal 同埋呢個 impersonal 嘅一個 writing 啦。咁點解你會寫 I hope that 咧？咁咪唔 formal 咯，係咪啊？咁啊，留意啦。好，咁啊，下一條啦。好，第3條 Learning English through social issues。咁啊，呢一條係一個 news report。咁啊 news report 咧係個新聞嘅報導。OK。咁啊話就話係新聞報導啦。咁其實呢篇嘢即係説穿了就係一個 feature article 啦。專題文章啦。咁點解咧？因為其實呢篇文係一個好 in-depth 嘅一個 analysis of 一個 special issues in Hong Kong， 同埋咧佢係一個冇一個時間性嘅，即係你一篇文咧，我相信你今年出或者你你今日出或者下個月出，甚至係下年出，應該個分別都唔大嘅。咁啊呢個就唔係一個 news article，news article 多數係一啲例如地震啊或者意外啊，又或者一啲發生咗嘅社會事件，咁就可能會係news article 啦。咁呢個 format 咧就似係 feature article 多啲嘅。今日睇一睇呢篇文章係咩啦。In recent years, the number of small independent stationery shops in Hong Kong has fallen. 咁啊，越嚟越少嗰啲文具鋪啦。Write a news report for the Hong Kong Post。咁啊，留意咧，呢一個係一個formal 嘅文章嚟嘅。咁你就唔好寫 I am going to talk about 呢啲。咁啊，已經講無數次啦，唔好亂咁講 I am going to talk about。即係明白咁多位嘅學生可能接觸呢一個嘅speech 係最多，因為學校成日都聽老師成日喺度講 speech 啦。咁但係你都唔好不停咁濫用一啲 phrase 係冇全部 genre 都用一次啦。因為啲考官最憎咧就係見到啲學生咧係唔係都用 I am going to 極差啊，真係 OK。咁 咁啊，你有兩個 point 嘅，第一就係 explain this trend 啦，點解越嚟越少文具鋪啦？第二個就係 discuss whether independent stationery shops can survive 啦。咁當然你自己有個立場啦，得或者唔得，有原因啦。OK， 咁啊其實我諗啲 point 都易諗嘅。咁點解越嚟越少文具鋪啦？同埋佢覺得佢哋未來生唔生存到啦咁樣。咁啊我諗係啦，當年都多人揀嘅呢條題目。咁啊睇下天範文點樣講啦。好，咁啊又係啦，因為呢篇係個 feature article 啦，咁所以又有個 title 啦。No longer stationery。咁啊留意佢又係玩呢個字眼啊。OK，stationery 係一個解靜止啊。OK， 停止啊。OK，the decline of the city stationery scene。咁啊留意呢個係 E 啦，呢個係 A 啦。stationery 解停止啊。OK。From kindergarten kids to teenagers, from college students to office workers, the need for stationery never changes. Notebooks with Chinese multiplication tables on the back cover, pencils striped red and black, and lanterns for the Mid-Autumn Festival, all form a part of the collective memory of generations of Hong Kongers. In spite of this, independent stationery shops in the city have been on the decline in recent years. The reasons for this are sad but not surprising. 咁啊有一個好清晰嘅個 topic sentence 啦。咁啊講一講而家越嚟越跌啦。咁啊其實原因咧就好傷心，但係其實唔意外嘅。OK。好。咁啊第一個啦，咁呢個係一個比較特別嘅 topic sentence 啦。就係呢一個嘅soaring costs 成本上升。咁啊呢個就係 topic sentence 啦。Said Amy Chan, the shopkeeper at Man & Co, a 40-year-old stationery shop in 深水埗, pointing out the culprit without a second's hesitation。咁留意咧，呢個人咧就好醒嘅，佢就引翻嗰幅圖嗰個民信公司啊。OK， 咁咪好 realistic 咯。OK， 咁雖然我唔肯定佢係咪深水埗啦，我好似查過，佢好似係灣仔嘅。OK， 唔緊要啦，咁啊考官唔知噶嘛，佢唔會攞部手機出嚟去 check 下啊，我睇下呢個 Man & Co 係咪係深水埗啲，冇人會咁樣做嘅。OK。As the second generation owner of the shop, she has witnessed the blooming of the industry as a kid and its decline in recent years. Stationery shops were common family businesses in the past. The products were cheap, as was the rent. Mainly sourced locally or from mainland China, stationery items were widely accessible during the second half of the 20th century. Against this background, independent stationery stores blossomed in the city. However, as a result of the city's rapid economic development, rents have surged, especially in better developed districts. Unable to afford the rent, stationery shops have moved to older districts and street markets. The rising cost of stationery production has also caused product prices to increase, making their products less appealing to customers. 咁啊有講以前嘅因素啦，點解係咁平啦？以前 product cheap, rents 就low 啦。OK， 咁啊而家咧就係 rents have surged 啦，同埋 product prices 都會 increase 咗啦，咁所以就有個以前同而家嘅對比，咁所以而家就係唔得啦。好，下一個。今日因為呢個係一個專題文章啦，咁所以咧其實都係會訪問一啲同嗰個事件有關嘅一啲人啦。咁可能係嗰啲文具鋪嘅老細啊，又或者可能係啲顧客啊，又或者可能係個教授啊，又或者政府官員都有可能嘅。今日呢個就係一個即係 feature article 嘅一個 feature 啦。咁啊睇你對嗰個 text type 有幾認識啦。OK。好啦，咁啊 Mrs. Lee, a long-time customer of the shop, concurred with Chen and added that the rise of stationery chain stores is also contributing to the industry's downfall. 嗰啲連鎖大文具鋪啊 ，OK， 即係無印啊嗰啲啊，樂安啊嗰啲。Chain stores are often open in air-conditioned shopping malls with a larger variety of products and more appealing interior design. 咁啊多啲種類可以揀啦，同埋靚啲啦，入面個室內設計個鋪頭。 The reasons for the phenomenon may also be changes in young people's attitude towards stationery shopping。咁而家啲年輕人咧，對於買文具可能有另一個態度啦。Young people nowadays think about their image more than my generation did when we were young. Mrs. Lee explained, Indeed, for older generations, stationery were something purely practical. As a result, stationery designs were simple and stationery stores were packed with useful products. However, as the quality of life in Hong Kong has improved, young people have stopped seeing stationery as a tool and instead see it as an opportunity to show off their personal style. In light of this, independent stationery shops equipped with products of variable quality and simple design no longer satisfy their needs. Given this cultural background, it is not surprising that independent stationery shops have declined in popularity and number in recent years. OK? 咁有一個好嘅 concluding sentence 啦。When asked about the future of independent stationery shops, Mrs. Lee was pessimistic. 未來前景悲觀嘅。In a highly commercialized and materialistic city like Hong Kong, the prospect of small independent shops will only continue to decline. Yet Chen believes that the end has not yet arrived. People still need independent stationery shops to remind them of the past and the bonds that held communities together. 咁需要懷緬返過去啊 OK Perhaps even more than that, the shops seem to represent the unwavering spirit of Hong Kong people 咁誇張香港人嘅堅毅不屈嘅精神啊 who have witnessed the transformation of Hong Kong from a fishing village to an international metropolis and overcome the challenges of a financial crisis and pandemics. Historian Chris Wong agrees. There is still a large possibility that these shops will enter once again into public life. We should not underestimate. 原來咧訪問咗個歷史學家 OK There's still a large possibility that these shops will enter once again into public life. We should not underestimate the power of nostalgia and community. One thing is certain, small stationery shop will always remain an integral part of Hong Kong's ever-changing street life. 咁回應咗個題目嘅問題啦，到底呢啲小型文具鋪有冇得撈啦？咁有嘅。And a constituent of the shared childhood memories of many Hong Kongers. 咁留意好多嘅 keywords 啦，集體童年回憶啊咁樣啦。That is something that cannot be replaced by chain stores and malls. OK， 咁寫得唔錯嘅。OK， 好的，下一條啦。咁第4條啦，咁呢一個咧就係一個嘅話 formal letter 啦，其實就係 application letter 啦，即係一個類似係求職信，不過咧入面嘅內容有少少轉咗咁樣。咁呢一類嘅題目有冇出過咧？其實有出過㗎啦。2018年定17年咧，咪有一條話你想 join 一個 poetry workshop， 跟住你又要寫封信講下點解我要贏呢個獎金嘅。其實如果你真係有讀呢啲 past paper 嘅話咧，你會發現其實嚟嚟去都係查都係嗰啲嘅咋。不過睇下你有冇留心嘅咋。咁呢個就話 You work for the Park Hotel in Hong Kong。OK， 咁後尾我發現呢間酒店係真嘅酒店嚟嘅喎。OK。You would like to apply for work transfer to the Shanghai branch of the hotel。如果你本身喺香港嘅，咁而家咧就想翻去呢個中國大陸嗰度，就去呢個中國大陸嗰度翻工咁樣。咁上海嘅分行 ，write a letter to Mr. Wong, your manager。因為你知你寫俾邊個嘛，Dear Mr. Wong 啦，咁下款就係 Yours sincerely 或者 Yours truly 啦，跟住就係 Chris Wong 啦 ，OK。Highlight your work experience。OK， 講一講你嘅工作經驗先。第二 ，Why you would like transfer？ 點解你要轉？第三 ，How your transfer will benefit the organisation？ 其實呢一個咧，佢已經好好提你咧，就係話嗱，你話要求轉去另一間分行啫，咁但係點解人哋要幫你轉先？對間公司有咩好處先？你明白？唔可以樣嘢淨係為你噶嘛。當然有好多原因你可以話要轉工啦，咁包括就話我想體驗下唔同嘅文化啊，又或者我屋企人而家轉間搬咗去上海啊，又或者我有啲親戚嘅上海，即係之類啦。你可以你話我而家上海讀 master， 即係 你講乜都得嘅基本上。咁啊，最尾就你個 transfer 點樣去 benefit 個 organisation 啦，咁你自己就可以諗下啦。好，咁咧就睇下呢篇嘅範文啦。咁範文咧，我會 highlight 好多嘅一啲重點嘅字眼你可以講 ，OK？ 好的，好 ，re 呢篇範文有錯啦 ，OK？ 呢個 title 應該係個 Dear Mr. Wong 下面嘅 ，OK？Dear Mr. Wong 冇錯，但喺 Dear Mr. Wong 之後先有個subject 啊 ，OK？Re application for work transfer. I am writing to submit a request to transfer from the Hong Kong branch of the hotel to the Shanghai branch. OK。今日有好多考生咧，特別係比較弱嗰啲就直接抄啦。I am working in Park Hotel in Hong Kong。咁人哋梗係知你係喺 Park Hotel 度做嘢啦，人哋你經理嚟嘅喎。即係你寫呢句之前，你有冇諗下make 唔 make sense 啊？成個嘢都唔 make sense。OK。咁啊，你要 transfer from the Hong Kong branch of the hotel to the Shanghai branch。留意佢根本就冇講過咩 hotel， 因為你經理梗係同你做同一間 hotel 啦，係咪啊？I have been a banquet coordinator in the food and beverage department at Park Hotel Hong Kong for 5 years and have greatly enjoyed the experience。咁啊，留意咧，佢即刻講職位啦，佢就係呢個嗰啲婚宴嗰啲即係嗰個統籌啦，喺呢個餐飲部啦。咁我做5年嘢咧，佢強調係香港啦。咁啊有 enjoy the experience 啦。咁當然嗱，有啲考生又傻啦，有啲人考生又話喺香港做嘢唔開心啊咁樣啦。你點會同你經理講喺香港做嘢唔開心㗎？你咪傻㗎！你哋真係咧未夠18歲咧，你真係太痴痴呆呆啦！你唔可以同老細講真話，知唔知道啊？你一定要同老細講大話，唔開心都要話自己開心，知唔知道啊？咁你一定要話我好開心，我好中意喺呢間公司度做嘢啊！我真係好榮幸公司俾啲機會我喺呢個餐飲部度做嘢，我真係學到好多嘢啊！你知唔知啊？教精你真係唔可以同老細講真話㗎 ，OK？However, I would like to take on a new journey in the new environment by transfer to the Shanghai branch。原來咧佢想有一個新嘅一個挑戰啊，咁樣一個新嘅旅程啊嘛，咁非常之合理啦。OK， 咁啊經理聽到好開心啦。咁你自己諗下啦，你寫封信你話我喺香港呢個返鄉做嘢唔開心，咁你經理就問你，咁你點解唔開心啊？係咪因為你唔滿意我in charge of 你嘅工作啊？係咪啊？你明唔明白？你唔可以同你經理講話你唔開心喎。除非你想辭工啦，你想辭工，你同佢講我唔開心 OK 嘅，但係你今日想辭工，你而家想佢，俾你調去上海分行啊嘛，咁梗係要即係好來好去啦，係咪啊？唔好 destroy 你同個 manager 嘅 relationship 啦，咁梗係你要講到開心啦，係咪先？咁啲人情世故嘅嘢，可能香港啲中學生真係好差啦，真係唔明白啦 ，OK？ 咁啊而家明咯喎。Having worked for 2 years as a banquet server at the Four Seasons Hotel and 5 years as a banquet coordinator at the Park Hotel Hong Kong， 咁啊其實幾好嘅。佢講埋之前咧喺四季酒店嗰度做咗一個婚宴嘅一個 server 啦 ，OK。咁唔單止喺 Park Hotel 度做過嘢嘅。I've gained not only customer service experience， 咁啊有服務客戶嘅經驗啦 ，but also excellent coordination skills， 有統籌能力係好強啊。咁啊，呢個係一個好嘅一個 topic sentence 啦。In terms of customer service experience, when working as a server, I had to communicate clients' requests to my supervisors and serve clients at the banquets. In this frontline role, I came to understand the needs of customers from different backgrounds and walks of life, from businessmen hosting international guests to couples getting married. That experience allowed me to further my career by taking on the position of banquet coordinator. In the past 5 years, I have had rich and varied experience of dealing with paperwork and budgets to ensure that clients had an experience that was both cost-effective and enjoyable. Through communicating with clients about their needs and requests, I developed my problem-solving skills and became good at responding swiftly and efficiently to emergencies and unforeseen circumstances. OK， 咁啊，即係都一路講緊自己嘅啲 skills 啦。OK， 我而家 highlight 下啦。OK， 咁啊要同顧客溝通啦。咁啊要咁啊然後就 有咩咧？要 paperwork 啦，要搞啲文件啦 ，OK， 要搞 budget 啦 ，OK， 跟住有 problem solving skills 啦，係咪 responding to emergencies 啊咁啦？好啦。I am confident that these skills would be of great use if I had the opportunity to be transferred to the Park Hotel Shanghai。咁你都要講下你自己而家經驗點樣可以帶到去人哋另一個上海分行㗎嘛？係咪先？人哋未必想收你㗎，你明唔明白啊？好，跟住然後繼續講佢嘅強項嘞噃。OK。The past 7 years of work in an international luxury hotels have also equipped me with strong coordination skills. Working as a banquet server and coordinator require effective communication, not only with customers, but also with personnel across the vast and complex hotel management structure. For example, I had to work closely with my manager, 即係你啦，讀緊呢封信嘅 Mr. Wong 啦 ，OK, to facilitate the smooth running of events, while also coordinating with the sales and marketing managers in case of special requests, such as the need for outdoor catering. I have successfully coordinated the work of the service, kitchen and bar at hundreds of large events, and consistently delivered a high-quality experience to our customers. In my role as a banquet coordinator, I have learned the importance of being a team player, as even minor mistakes affect everyone in the team and can lead to the loss of valued customers. OK， 咁啊，仲有啲咩咧？就係話原來咧就要同呢個 marketing manager 傾偈啦，要同 server 傾偈啦 ，kitchen and bars 啦，係咪邊嘅 team player 啦？好啦，跟住最尾嗰句concluding sentence 再強調啦，哇！我去上海超正啊咁樣啦。Given my experience, I'm sure I would be able to handle any unexpected challenges in Shanghai. 好啦，跟住你就講下點解你想轉去上海啦 ，OK？Although I've been in the hospitality industry for some years now, my experience has been largely limited to luxury hotels in Hong Kong. 咁我淨喺香港做嘢啦。I have not yet had the chance to study or work abroad. Working in this industry is important to understand different cultures so as to better serve clients from around the world. 了解唔同文化啦。Therefore, I would like to expand my cultural knowledge by transferring to Shanghai, a nearby rising metropolis and the second most visited city in China. I would relish the opportunity to immerse myself in a different culture and working environment, and to meet other talented individuals in the hospitality industry. 咁啊，佢想點咧？佢想去浸淫喺另一個文化啦，同埋遇到其他更加叻嘅人啦。OK， 好啦，跟住要講下點樣去令到間公司更加獲益咯喎。OK。This transfer would also benefit the company by encouraging exchange of experience and knowledge. I would bring with me my catering and customer service experience， 帶啲餐飲業服務顧客嘅經驗啦。As well as my knowledge of our hotel management structures and procedures for comparison and reference, while also learning from 嗱，你要講埋學乜嘢啊？你去上海學嘢㗎 ，OK？ 咁啊，你貢獻俾人哋，你自己都學嘢，咁學咩咧？The practices of Shanghai branch and passing on recommendations to my colleagues in Hong Kong 原來咧令到香港嗰邊嘅啲同事咧都可以獲益嘅，咁啊正呢個。In particular, given the large number of business tours it hosts, the Shanghai branch has significantly more experience of organizing large-scale business banquets and dealing with diverse clients from international companies. 原來上海咧 serve 好多 business 嘅 tourist 嘅，咁咧原來有好多大型嘅啲 business banquets 啦，大型嘅嗰啲餐飲嗰啲宴會啦 ，OK。This knowledge would be valuable for the Hong Kong branch, where there are relatively fewer large-scale banquets due to the smaller size of local enterprises. By learning from each other's strengths, both branches could improve their services, thus expanding their target markets and enhancing their competitiveness. 咁啊正啦，香港、上海都有獲益啦。咁啊，你經理見到哈哈笑勁開心啦，即刻調你上去啦。OK。I sincerely hope that my request for work transfer will be approved, and I look forward to continuing to work for the company with dedication and commitment in the years to come. 咁啊，希望我嘅要求可以被答允啦，然後希望可以繼續服務公司。咁你個公司咪你個經理咪哇正啊，哇正，即刻調你去上海啊，哇咁啦。OK， 咁啊 Yours sincerely Chris Wong， 留意最 save 咧呢度應該要寫埋你嗰個 job title 同埋你個 company 嘅。雖然你係同一間公司，你唔使寫，但係有啲 marker 咧，其實你見到你係有呢嚿嘢咧，係會對你印象好啲。咁你咪寫banquet coordinator、Park Hotel Hong Kong 咯，冇壞㗎，寫到幾個字啫嘛。OK， 留意啦。好，下一條咁啊，第5條啦。咁下一條咧 sports communication 咁啊，就係講呢個龍舟啊。OK。Some people think that the International Olympic Committee should include a greater variety of sports in the Olympic Games. However, for sports to be considered a new Olympic event, it must meet the following criteria. Number 1, appeal to young people. Number 2, promote gender equality. Number 3, attract media coverage. The IOC is inviting the public to suggest sports to be included in future Olympics. You would like to propose dragon boat racing. Write a letter to the president of the IOC. Give reasons to support your opinion. 咁啊，其實呢條咧個要求已經係講得非常之清楚。第一，寫封信啦 ，President of the IOC 啦，咁啊，即係其實你Dear President of the International Olympic Committee 又得啦 ，Dear Sir Madam 其實都勉強都得嘅，但其實我覺得你寫 Dear President OK 啲咯。OK，Give reasons to support your opinion 啦，咁邊啲 opinion 咧？其實佢俾咗你啦。Appeal to young people, promote gender equality, attract media coverage， 咪就呢3個原因咯。你跟住講咪 OK 咯。OK， 咁啊呢個係個 formal letter 啦。咁啊 D 啊冇乜，跟住 I am writing to 乜啦。你可以介紹個 general background 啦。然後你講下你要 propose 呢個 dragon boat racing 啦。然後你講下龍舟點樣可以達到呢3樣嘢咧 ？Attract young people, promote gender equality 同 attract media coverage 咧咁樣。咁我睇下呢篇範文點樣講啦。OK。好啦，咁啊又係一個格式上面嘅問題啦，唔知點解經常係咁樣啦。OK，Dear President， 我會建議你寫埋 Dear President of OK，safety 啊 OK，suggestion for the new Olympic events read 就 regarding 啦 OK。I am writing to suggest an additional event to be included in future Olympic Games。講得好清楚啦 OK。咁點樣可以再有說服力啲咧？其實你可以話我係一個而家我係龍舟嘅隊長喺香港，咁啊更加有說服力咯。你可以揀一個對你自己立場有利嘅一個角色嚟去講啊嘛。咁呢個技巧其實我都喺唔同嘅影片都有講過啦。OK， 咁例如你係有一年 DSE 堂唔係話咩 PE 堂應該被廢除嘅，咁如果你唔想被廢除嘅，咁你冇話你係中學嘅 PE 老師咯。咁如果你想係廢除嘅，咁你咪話你係中學學生咯。你明唔明啊？即係你講一啲揀一個有利自己立場嘅角色，然後你就可以喺封信度提及點解作為呢一個嘅角色咧，你係想保留啦。咁啊呢一個其實你話你係一個龍舟嘅隊長都 OK 嘅，冇問題嘅。OK， 好，繼續啦。In my opinion, dragon boat racing would be a great addition and it satisfies all 3 criteria set up by the International Olympic Committee. Not only does the event attract extensive media coverage, it also appeals to young people and promotes gender equality. 咁啊，呢個 topic 先係非常之清晰啦。好，to begin with, dragon boat racing attracts media coverage as it's one of the largest sporting events held in Chinese communities around the globe. OK， 咁啊，爬龍舟其實都好熱門㗎，唔單止係即係 Chinese， 唔單止係呢個中國啦，咁啊可能其他地方都會有搞啦，即係例如有環嘅地區啊、唐人街嗰啲可能都會搞啦，唔知啊。OK。Originally a ritual commemorating the death of Wat Yuan, a patriotic Chinese poet, dragon boat racing has since become a joyful and exciting summer event. Dragon boats are painted in vibrant colors from head to tail, while dragon boaters wear equally colorful team vests and costumes. Thousands of spectators gather by the shore, shouting and cheering paddlers on as the water splashes and glitters under the scorching heat. Giving the visually and acoustically engaging scene, it is not uncommon to see reporters and cameramen hurrying through the crowd, providing live footage of the event. The extensive media coverage and popular appeal makes dragon boats racing a perfect Olympic event. 好嘅 concluding sentence 啦。咁點解呢個 attracts media coverage 咧？因為好靚啦，啲龍舟 OK， 個船又靚啦，嗰啲衫又靚啦，跟住嗰啲觀眾又多人啦，跟住然後就好多嘅記者都會報導呢個盛事啦。OK， 下一個。In addition, dragon boat racing is surprisingly popular amongst young people. Many universities and even secondary schools have their own dragon boat teams. 呢個係真嘅 OK。例如香港間大學年年都會搞啲龍舟比賽啦，爭冠軍咁樣啦。Where young athletes receive professional training and participate in inter-school and territory-wide tournaments every year. For team members, one of the most appealing elements of the sport is its physically demanding nature. To drive the traditional boat forward, paddlers have to use the strength of the whole upper body, while at the same time maintaining synchronized movement with their teammates. This requires a lot of endurance and coordination. While it may be exhausting at times, it also brings about a great sense of accomplishment once the team establishes perfect synchronization, fostering friendships and building close-knit relationships. Young people can gain from the support of their peers, public recognition, and an opportunity to build their self-confidence. Its addition to the Olympic Games could further promote dragon boat racing among young athletes and help nurture rising stars in the field. 咁留意呢段嘢咧，其實佢係有強調呢個 young people 啊 ，OK， 有個 university 啦，有講 secondary school 啦，係咪啊？有講呢一個嘅young people 啦，係咪啊 ？young athlete 啦，不停強調呢個年輕人啊。最尾第三個好處啦。Lastly, dragon boat 做呢個係concluding sentence 都好正嘅呢個。好，最尾一個 main paragraph 啦。Lastly, dragon boat racing promotes gender equality and diversity. There are not only men's and women's races, but also mixed events where limitations are only set on the number of men and women to ensure equal footing. In fact, most teams that enter the dragon boat races in Hong Kong are mixed gender, and many women dragon boaters are as sturdy and strong as their male colleagues. Ultimately, what matters is not gender or physique, but team spirit. The arrangement of seats also reflects this. Men and women dragon boaters sit shoulders to shoulder in two lines in dragon boat races, all facing the drummer and their common destination. This conveys a powerful message that men and women can achieve the same goal with determination and perseverance. Seeing as mixed events are still a minority in the Olympic Games, the inclusion of dragon boat racing in the Games would reinforce and represent the IOC's dedication to promote gender diversity and equality. The Olympic Games aim to foster friendships, promote respect among people from different backgrounds, and encourage excellence. Dragon boat racing satisfies all of the above core values. It is hoped that the IOC will consider adopting this proposal in future games. 咁留意啦，佢用 is hoped that 啦，又唔係 I hope that 啦。OK。I'm confident that it will not only enrich the variety of Olympic events, but also provide entertainment and inspiration from international audiences. 敗筆啊！漏咗下款啊。OK, yours truly, Chris Wong 漏咗，我organisation係會扣分嘅一定。OK， 呢篇文比較短啦，但係都 OK 嘅。OK， 簡而精。OK， 好的。下條第六條咧都多人揀嘅，就係嗰啲唔健康嗰啲食物要加營養標籤啊。Okay. To raise public awareness of healthy eating, some countries now legally require food manufacturers to put warning labels on foods that are high in sugar, saturated fats and salt， 即係高糖啦、高飽和脂肪同埋高鹽咧，都要加啲警告嘅標籤啦。OK。Right and 叫 methyl acid 啦，咁係三個原因啦。OK。Argue either for or against， 即係你一係就支持，一係反對，唔好中立。OK。The effectiveness of food warning labels in changing people's eating habits。嗱，留意呢一個咧係純粹講緊話，到底佢有冇效去改變人類嘅飲食習慣 ？OK， 咁啊，到底你擺一個標籤，會唔會令到啲人食少啲垃圾食物咧？咁呢個係一個真正嘅題目，唔係話呢樣嘢好唔好啊，或者呢樣嘢即係呢樣嘢，即係你唔好曲解呢個題目咯。有好多人就話哦呢樣嘢好啊，因為OK 舉例子啦，咁有啲藥嘅學生就會話我覺得呢個 labels 好啊，因為香港有好多人黐肥啊，因為香港有好多人有心臟病啊，有高血壓、糖尿病啊，咁所以咧如果有呢個 warning labels 嘅話咧，就好好啦咁樣樣。咁其實但係你冇解釋過點樣可以改變到人類嘅飲食習慣嘅喎，即係可能你話會令到啲人會諗多啲就唔想唔好食咁多啲高肥嘅嘢，又或者佢哋對呢啲嘢嘅知識係冇咁多啊，唔知佢係有害啊咁樣樣，即係你呢啲嘢你要講咯 ，OK？ 好，咁啊睇下邊範文啦。argumentative essay 又有 title 啦，咁啊佢19年係有講嘅好人嘅，20年就冇講啦。咁不過呢啲係常識嚟嘅，你可英6年，你中學到英6年，你冇可能唔識嘅 ，OK？Food for thought， 咁又係玩食字啦。Food for thought 其實就係一啲話令你思考嘅問題啦，多數會係啲文章啊，又或者喺啲教科書度會出現啦。Food for thought。好啦，咁啊一開始點樣開始呢一個嘅題目咧？又係你可以講一講呢一個嘅近況啦，即係社會嘅現象啦咁嘅樣。In recent years, healthy eating has become one of the most discussed topics in developed regions, with the increasing death rates from obesity and chronic diseases directly related to eating habits. Some members of the public are urging the authorities to legally require nutrition warning labels on all food products. These propositions have sparked a debate about the effectiveness of food warning labels in promoting healthy eating. However, while there's a debate and disagreement on the subject, food warning labels do help to promote healthy eating in several ways and act as a useful reminder for both customers and food manufacturers. 嗱，好啦，咁一開始咧呢一 part 咧。就係講呢個 general background 啦，即係而家咧近年嚟咧就越嚟越多人咧就重視呢個健康飲食啦。咁咧所以咧因為越嚟越多人重視啊嘛，咁所以咧有關當局咧就決定咧就某啲嘅國家就決定咧要將啲唔健康嘅食物咧要擺啲標籤啦咁嘅樣啦。咁咧就引起咗熱烈嘅討論啦。咁啊有啲人就唔同意啦。咁啊但係咧就我認為咧就點。好啦 ，food warning labels 咧 do help to promote healthy eating in several ways. OK, useful reminder for both customers and food manufacturers. 咁呢個就係好嘅 topic sentence 啦。咁啊留意，其實唔係你唔需要講 I think 㗎，你成篇嘢咪就係你嘅立場咯。你講乜鬼 I think 啫 ？OK， 唔係篇嘢都唔需要㗎。OK， 你篇嘢係一個 argumentative essay， 咁成篇嘢就係你嘅 opinion 嚟㗎啦。冇人講過呢個係個事實嚟㗎嘛。咁你點解要講 opinion 咧？我都唔明白。OK。Firstly, food warning labels act as a strong reminder for people to pay attention to food content. OK 咁咧，原來食嗰啲食物營養標籤咧，就係嗰啲提示啊，令到啲人咧就留意嗰啲食物嘅含量係乜嘢。OK. In past years, people advocated for the printing of nutrition labels on packages to help customers to make more informed food choices. However, it was proven to be ineffective as many customers lack the knowledge required to read detailed nutritional information or simply do not understand the significance of the data. For example, those who are not interested in keeping fit may not understand the calorie content of food. In this regard, food warning labels better assist customers as they clearly tell them if a food is high in fat, sugar, or salt, using standards set by health authorities. Food nutrition labels contain a lot more information than warning labels. For example, the amount of carbohydrates and proteins. Although these ingredients are also significant, excessive intake will pose less of a risk to health, making them less relevant to encouraging healthy eating. Food warning labels, on the other hand, point out only the ingredients that are most likely to impact the health of customers. While people may not look at nutrition labels, they will notice warning labels at first glance, as these labels only present minimal information and use an eye-catching and easy to understand color code scheme. This can help foster better understanding of products, which can in turn help customers to choose and purchase products that are most beneficial to their health. OK， 咁呢段嘢咧都幾好嘅，因為佢不停咁比較緊嗰啲舊嘅營養標籤同埋嗰啲新嘅一啲警告標籤嘛。咁啊 nutrition labels 啊，跟住咁然後咧就 food warning labels 啊 ，food nutrition labels 啊 ，food warning labels 啊 ，OK， 咁你不停咁比較啦 ，OK 嘅。OK， 下一段又有一個好清晰嘅 topic sentence 啊 ，OK。Another reason why food warning labels are effective is that they provide an incentive for food manufacturers to review the content of their products. If such a policy is implemented, customers will be more likely to choose healthier foods and to compare the nutritional content of products made by different brands. For example, consumers will tend to buy the packets of chips that has fewer warning labels. The proposed system would work well because there are clear, uniform definitions of high sugar, salt, and saturated fat content, and the warning labels are printed prominently on the front of packages. While food manufacturers may want to minimize the number of warning labels put on products for fear of driving away potential customers, this policy allows no room to manipulate the definitions and no choice but to comply. Therefore, to ensure that their products stand out amongst those of their competitors, food product producers will have to make their products healthier. Such competition facilitates the creation of a suitable environment for promoting healthy eating. 咁啊，非常之好啦。因為上一段就係講呢個對於呢個買家食家嘅一個影響啦，呢段就係講對於食物製造商嘅影響啦。OK， 咁啊都會令到佢哋更加留意自己嘅產品係咪健康啦，尤其是係呢個市場咁大啦，有咁多嘢可以揀啦，到底你啲嘢食咁唔健康，係咪啲人真係會買咧咁樣？咁都 OK 嘅呢段講得。好啦，咁呢個只係2個 point 咯喎，咁你會問啊，喂阿 Sir 你又話要3個 point， 咁第3個 point 喺邊啊？食咗啊？咁唔係嘅，咁啊其實你可以用一個駁論嘅形式咧去帶出第3個 point 嘅 ，OK。咁啊呢度再講一講啦 ，OK。咁有啲人可能會話啊，其實咧我唔知邊度聽翻嚟，可能補習老師講咧話咧，如果你冇駁論嘅話咧係攞唔到高分嘅。咁到底冇駁論係咪攞唔到高分咧？其實就唔係嘅 ，OK。你篇文咧正常嘅話咧，啲 point 係正常係 topic sentence 寫得好嘅話咧，基本上你攞 level 5或者以上咧係冇難度嘅。咁當然你個駁論寫得好係錦上添花啦，但係更加多時咧係有啲學生咧就係為寫而寫，你個駁論咧係寫到好冇邏輯啦，或者邏輯係錯啦，又或者根本上你係幫翻你個對方轉頭添，咁啊令到你嗰個本身嘅論據都被削弱，咁啊更加差成邊嘢。咁所以咧，你嗰個駁論咧，你寫得好還是你寫得唔好嘅話咧，令到你本身個 content 都會影響。咁所以咧，你真係要諗清楚，到底寫唔寫駁論，同埋咧，多數駁論咧，你係要拗對方最勁嗰個 point。然後你要成功駁翻人哋嘅 ，OK。咁所以咧，你就唔好揀你最勁嘅 point，然後你就拗得唔好，咁你只係咧會令到對方嘅論點更加強壯，咁你就會更加差啦 ，OK。好啦，今日睇下佢點樣用駁論啦。好 ，Some people may support， 咁啊留意啦，咁啊有好多學生駁論就會寫 someone may 啦，因為你中文係有人會説啊嘛。咁啊有好多學生就會寫 someone may say 啊 ，someone may support 啦，咁啊極差啦。咁啊呢 marker 見到你連 some people may 啊 some may 啊都唔識嘅話咧，即係懷疑你連英文都唔識，你寫乜鬼駁論啊？咁樣呢個對你個印象已經極差啦。OK， 咁所以咧留意駁論係 some people may say 或者唔使 people 啊 some may say， 就唔好講 someone may say， 極差 OK。Some people may support the idea of healthy eating, but doubt whether food warning labels are truly effective, given the fact that similar policies implemented for cigarettes have not been completely effective. Okay. Cigarettes do considerably more harm to human health than salt, sugar, and saturated fat. Health authorities have put unpleasant images of damaged lungs on cigarette packets to warn people about the negative impacts of cigarettes on human health. However, smokers have continued to smoke despite the warning labels. This has led to worries that the same would happen with food warning labels. However, it is inappropriate to compare food and tobacco products as they are varied products in their consumption and effects. Cigarettes are addictive due to their nicotine content and unlike food, have no positive effects on health. We can never have full control over consumers' behavior, so we cannot guarantee that people's eating habit will become entirely healthy. However, we can be certain that warning labels would help by influencing consumer decisions. Thereby improving their chances of selecting healthy products. OK， 咁啊，你可以話呢個比較係不當啦，咁當然合理嘅一個論據嚟嘅。OK， 咁你點可以同煙同埋食物比咧？咁煙第一唔會話有啲煙係健康過另一啲煙噶嘛。OK， 咁你樣樣煙都係引致肺炎㗎啦。咁即係其實你印咗 warning labels 都冇得比較喎，啲人唔可以揀個健康啲嘅煙㗎喎。咁第二就係、你食物你可以你煙係上癮㗎嘛，咁即係啲人一定係食煙㗎嘛。OK， 咁就算你話你食完呢支煙就會死，咁啲人可能都會食啦，係咪先？咁但係你可能食薯片啊、食朱古力嗰啲，可能啲人真係因為會高糖喎，咁啲女仔見到話我要減肥，咁咪唔食咯。咁呢啲即係你煙係上癮嘅，你冇得揀你食唔食 ？OK， 但你零食薯片啊、朱古力嘅糖呢啲可以揀唔食噶嘛。珍珠奶茶你唔飲少，你飲少人唔會死噶嘛。OK， 但你食煙咧，你上咗癮咧，你唔食煙，你會生不如死的感覺。OK， 咁所以呢兩個比較係唔恰當，呢個係一個好嘅論據嚟嘅。OK， 好嘅論點啊。OK。While educating the general public about healthy eating is important, providing people with clearer and more concise information about the health impact of the food they consume is also essential for helping them to make informed decisions. Food warning labels are one of the easiest, most direct way of increasing both manufacturers' and consumers' awareness of the nutritional impacts of food and helping people to eat healthily.非常正式嘅 concluding sentence 啦 ，OK， 好，下條，好，咁咧第7條咧 poems and song， 咁啊呢個咧就寫一個專題文章嘅 feature article 啦 ，OK。You are a reporter， 打錯字添，唔好意思。You are a reporter for DSE, a music magazine. 即係你嘅受眾應該係嗰啲music lover 啦。You interviewed Zoe Kwan, who has just won Best New Artist at the HKTV Music Awards. OK， 咁啊 Zoe Kwan 就贏咗呢個最佳新人獎啦。你訪問佢啦。OK。Write a feature article based on your interview。咁啊，你要寫一篇專題文章啦 ，based on 你個 interview 啦，你訪問咗佢啲問題啦 ，OK。Report on Zoe's sudden rise to fame， 突然間成名啊，一夜成名啊 ，OK。And where the ideas behind her songs came from。咁啊兩 part 啦，第一個就係點解佢突然間會出名啦 ，OK。第二就係點解佢有咁多靈感呢啲歌 ，OK。咁啊，其實都易寫嘅，如果你睇開一啲明星嗰啲訪問啊，或者你本身中意開啲明星咧，其實都唔難寫嘅呢篇。OK， 咁啊 feature article 要標題啦，咁啊你可以講兩個原因點解佢咁出名啦，一個都得嘅。咁啊靈感邊度嚟啦？咁啊留意，因為你個訪問啊嘛，咁所以咧其實應該係有得 direct quote 啦 ，quote 翻佢講過嘅嘢啦。OK， 好。Meet Zoe Kwan, the rising supernova。咁留意呢個係個音樂雜誌啦。咁可能雖然佢贏咗最佳新人獎啫，但可能啲讀者未必識佢噶嘛。咁你個標題就直接寫話 Meet Zoe Kwan, the rising supernova。OK， 超級新星啊！佢係一個 Dressed in a white T-shirt and jeans with boba tea in one hand, one could easily mistook Zoe Kwan for an ordinary 18-year-old girl. The newly crowned new best artist at the HKTV Music Awards has nothing to hide. Still crunching on the medic. Okay, she bought for breakfast. She recalls the moment when the MCs announced her name on stage. Utterly surreal, she laughs, then quickly covers her mouth. I thought I returned home empty-handed. But the talented teenager underestimated her influence, hitting the charts with her debut single, Rubbish Lady, in February of last year, and reaching the top of the charts 2 weeks later. She has achieved the unfathomable for many musicians of her generation. Within a month, the number of followers on her Instagram surged from a mere 500 to over 100,000. 500升到10萬. Okay? When asked about her sudden rise to fame, Zoe tilted her head and paused before answering. I try not to think about that. Fame is a curious thing. It can motivate you, but it can also make you forget why you started. 咁留意啦，佢係用一啲direct quoting 啦。Coming from an 18-year-old, these words may seem very mature, but Zoe has learned from a young age that nothing lasts. Born in a middle-class family, she had the privilege of receiving vocal training and having piano lessons from the age of 5. Driven by her talents and passions, she has since won numerous competitions, both inter-school and territory-wide. At the age of 15, she was signed to a local music label as a backup singer. Just as her career was taking off and everything seemed bright and promising, her father went bankrupt and she lost her voice due to stress and intensive practice. Not only did she have to move from a well-furnished high-rise to a subdivided flat in Subsoil, but she was also forced to stop singing. 咁慘嘅，中產變低層，要住劏房。Zoe thought her career was over, as did everyone around her. She gave up on her musical dreams and decided to study abroad in Australia for a veterinary degree. 喂，佢冇錢點去澳洲讀書啊？唔合理喎，呢個 point 傻㗎！佢阿爸破產，佢點去澳洲讀書啊？喂 ，OK， 唔得呢個，我覺得唔得。好啦，算啦，我哋講估唔好播估啦，繼續睇落去 OK。Yet fate gave her another chance. During her stay in Shamshui, she developed the habit of looking out of the window. She watched people come and go in the market. She observed the store owners, how they sold their products, fell asleep, and chatted with one another, and studied the people who transported goods with trolleys or their bare hands. It was something I'd never seen from the windows of my old residential building. It was like a new world to me, the lives of men and women unseen and ignored by many. Zoe exclaimed. 嗱，留意啦。今日一開始你話要describe her sudden rise to fame 啊嘛，佢突然間成名啊嘛。咁呢度佢係講話嗰首歌啦，就已經係第一位啦，喺嗰個排行榜。咁啊，然後就突然間100萬個sorry 嚇，唔係100萬，對唔住，係10萬個 follower 啦，咁樣啦。咁然後你係講嗰個佢靈感喺邊度嚟咯？個靈感就係第一咧就係佢就去咗呢個深水埗度住啦，然後見到好多人喺度執垃圾啊、瞓街啊咁啦，跟住佢就覺得好正啦。OK。Such profound observation on her surrounding might be what contributed to the popularity of her works. Rubbish Lady is a case in point. A snapshot of the issue of elderly poverty in the city. The song presents the monologue of a woman collecting recyclable items from the street. I was inspired by an old lady I saw every day near where I live. Zoe explains. I imagine she must have big dreams when she was young and couldn't help wondering why she now had to collect junk for a living. Okay. 講靈感啊。Okay. She was overcome with a sudden shyness and giggled. I like observing the little things in life. Life is dull without these tidbits and stories. This idea is further elaborated in her new album, By the Way, scheduled to be released this July. To Zoe, the phrase has multiple meanings. Not only does it refer to the regularities in life too small and habitual to be noticed, but also the beautiful people and sceneries we walk past on a daily basis. Indeed, in the romance-bombarded music scene of the city, the unique cityscape and culture of Hong Kong is usually the background to love stories and music videos, but never the lead. Zoe hopes to change this. With the rise of local awareness in recent years amongst both younger and older people, I hope my songs will help them to express their feelings about their lives, their roots, and about the cities they live in. As for the way forward, the young singer-songwriter has plenty of ideas. There are still loads of social issues that I'd like to talk about. Environmental protection for one, she says, her eyes beaming with enthusiasm. After all, I always imagine myself articulating the voice of the underheard, even when I first started my career. I still do and always will. 咁呢個就講得非常之好啦。睇落去就真係好似一篇嘅 magazine article 啦，同埋都即係好，佢唔係好公式化咁樣咧，已經解答咗一條題目嘅問題。第一個就點解佢出名啦？第二個就係佢嘅靈感嚟自邊度啦。其實呢篇文係完全答得到嘅，但係佢唔係好公式化argumentative essay 咁樣咧。She got her inspiration from the people around her full stop topic sentence 咁樣啦。因為呢個係一個 music magazine 啦，你寫落去應該係俾啲 music lover 睇，咁呢個就非常之 natural。OK， 好，第8條。今日第8條咧就係又係 short story 啦，咁正常係最少人寫嘅呢一條啦 ，OK。但係呢一條咧都多人寫嘅喎，即係相對上 OK。Sci-Fi Magazine is organising a first chapter competition。咁留意咧，呢一個係 Sci-Fi Magazine，即係佢已經定義咗啦，你個故事一定要係科幻 ，OK， 唔係鬼故，唔係浪漫，唔係愛情，唔係喜劇 ，OK， 唔係悲劇。係 sci-fi is organising a first chapter competition。喂，我唔係好明啊。喂，我想問嗱，我唔解俾你聽 ，first chapter 解乜嘢啊？一本書 first chapter、second chapter， 點解嗰年會咁多考生會離題咧 ？OK， 佢話明要你寫第一個 chapter 啊嘛。The competition involves writing the first chapter of a story based on the following scenario。即係你明唔明白啊？一個 short story 可以有好多個 chapter 㗎。OK， 可以有5個 chapter、10個 chapter 都 OK 㗎。Based on the following scenario, a journalist is sent to investigate a research station in the Arctic after staff begin to mysteriously disappear one by one. OK， 你係一個記者啦，唔係你唔係一個記者，即係有一個記者去調查一個研究嘅研究站啦。嗰啲員工咧就好神奇地咧，一個地消失。You would like to end the competition. Write the first chapter only of your story。咁即係咩意思咧？佢 only 係 only， 大家睇晒你㗎啦。唔明點解咁多考生都係要盲中中埋去寫埋啲唔係淨係 first chapter 嘅嘢 ，OK？ 咁話明係 first chapter 啊嘛。咁呢個故事梗係唔係 complete 㗎啦，梗係你有啲人咧就寫晒成個完整嘅故事出嚟啊，又話原來最尾咧發現咧咩事，所有啲人就死晒啦。咁呢個唔係個 first chapter 啊嘛，你第一個 chapter 已經講個劇透出嚟，咁你第二個 chapter 寫乜嘢啊？你明唔明啊？你一開始你個 first chapter 你應該係你介紹下啲人物啊 ，OK 個 journalist 嘅背景啊，點解佢會俾人 send 去呢個 station 嗰度調查啊？今日嗰個 research station 係研究啲乜嘢啊？今日最近研究緊啲咩嘢特別嘅 project 啊？然後點解啲人係會發現佢哋逐個消失啊？會唔會有啲怪聲啊？或者會唔會有啲乜嘢嘅嘢發生咗，令到佢哋逐個消失咧？跟住到最尾咧，你個 story 嘅 ending 咧，應該係有啲懸念嘅，唔係應該停，即係唔應該劇透嘅，應該可能係我舉例子啊嚇，可能話個 journalist 咧 問完嗰啲街坊嘅，都唔係街坊，可能有街坊，即係問下嗰啲唔知船民啊或者 whatever 啦，就步入去呢一個嘅 research station。可能呢一個就係個 ending，即係可能 the journalist enter the research station with a camera in his hand and a heart that is beating like a drum。OK， 咁啊類似咁樣啦，咁你就停就 OK 㗎啦，因為呢個 first chapter 啊嘛，佢唔係叫你寫成個故事啊嘛，咁所以你唔好誤解個故事，你唔好誤解個題目嘅要求咯。OK， 今日睇下呢個範文點樣寫啦。OK，Lost in the snow, everything was white and still, completely still, except for the whistling wind, so strong that it pierced through my thick protective gear into my ear. I stepped off the truck, Mr. Smith by my side. The white powder beneath my boots creaked dully. It had been 7 years since I expressed my interest in going on an expedition. I had not expected it would go like this. 原來咧，我7年前咧就有講過話，我想去歷險啊，我想去旅行啊，但係冇估過咧，我旅行咧係會咁樣㗎。哇！一開始已經毛管戙啊，好驚啊。OK， 咁啊已經係製造懸念啦。OK。今日好高超啊！呢一個好讀到毛管戙啊 ！OK， all on you now, boy, all on you. The commander's voice seemed to echo in my ears. My head ached. 9 people missing, all elite scientists and explorers disappearing one by one without a single word. 咁啊 introduce 個 situation 啦。7 years. I looked through the whiteness to gaze at our destination.The only building in sight. I could still vividly recall the day that I first arrived at this facility as a journalist. OK， 即係佢已經唔係第一次去啦。OK。I could still vividly recall the day that I had first arrived at this facility as a journalist, with a plan to write about the most remote scientific laboratory in the country. Now I was here to write about something very different and much more frightening. 又喺度嚇你咁講。Despite everything, the building complex looked as cozy as ever. It was meant to be cozy. The chocolate-colored walls always reminded me of gingerbread houses you see in a fairy tale book.Inside, there were research facilities and a living area I had shared with the scientists. 佢已經住過喺嗰度㗎啦。Yet everything looked so distant right now. No hint of human existence, not even a hiccup or a snore. Looks abandoned, whispered Mrs. Smith, his wrinkled face tired and concerned. Even a veteran investigator like him seemed troubled by the sight. He shuffled his feet uncomfortably and adjusted his goggles repeatedly as if to calm himself down.Alright, let's get a move on. 咁啊，喺度營造氣氛啦，又話：哎呀，隻腳好唔舒服啊！哎呀，喺咪玩佢嗰個護目鏡啦 ，OK， 好緊張啦。We moved slowly towards the research station, allowing our feet to sink into the thick layers of ice along the way. We paused in front of the fence, and Mr. Smith nudged me with his heavily padded elbow, pointing to the window in front of us.I followed the direction of his finger. Suddenly, I saw something. The light was still on! 仲着緊燈，好鬼驚啊！喂 We looked at one another, as if to confirm that we had both seen it. If the lights were on, the staff in the station had not planned to leave. 即係如果佢着燈嘅話咧，其實嗰啲員工應該係冇計劃要走㗎。OK， 佢唔係計劃要走，可能有啲意外發生。OK， It was not much of a lead.But it confirmed our suspicions. OK， 有啲猜疑嘅，咁呢個就係非常之好咯，不停咁標入你嗰個懸念。OK， 好似 Sherlock Holmes 咁樣啦。We proceed to go inside. The light made feel like everything was normal, except there wasn't a single soul in the spacious complex apart from us. 點解得佢兩個去？點解冇警察嗰啲嘅 ？OK。The laboratory equipment seemed untouched.Even the desk and chairs did not show any sign of accidents or struggles. The shelf sealed tidily displayed the prized possession of the staff members. A framed photo of a mother and an infant, another of someone's grandparents. The two of us stood in silence for a brief moment, unsure of what to do next. Then Mr. Smith nudged and pointed again. Writing, he whispered. I felt a sudden rush of excitement. We were starting to solve the mystery. OK， 開始拆解呢個迷思啊。OK。Books and notebooks were laid out on the desk, some with pages turned over, some stacked at the side. Mr. Smith took out his glasses, put on his plastic gloves, and started to examine the papers. Any clues? I asked, breaking the silence. The investigator did not answer, but leaned slightly forward, his lip mouthing the words as his eyes moved across the sheet. Look, he finally said. You know what this means, don't you? I moved closer to see what he was looking at. It was a thick and battered journal, decorated with colorful doodles. The first page read, January 27, 2020. Followed by a mix of bullet point and scribbles. OK， 有啲 bullet point 啊，點你識嗰啲有啲好寫嗰啲字啊 ，OK， 速寫啊。I couldn't help but guess. It was the exact date of the first of the series of disappearance. 即係1月27號就係第一個有人消失嘅日子 ，OK， 好驚啊！ I turned my head to seek confirmation, and saw Mr. Smith raise his eyebrows in agreement. I turned around once again, this time noticing something that made my heart beat even faster. 我心又跳快啲 ，OK。Beneath the writing, there was a line of curves, twisting around like turbulent waves, ebbing and flowing in some sort of pattern on unknown language. OK， 喺個啲字下面咧，有一條曲線啊，好似嗰啲浪咁樣啊，有啲 unknown language. OK。It was clearly different from the scribbled handwriting and doodles on the rest of the page. Not hastily written with occasional hesitation, but neatly inscribed with deliberation. Not written with a ball pen, eh? Mr. Smith seemed to read my mind. Look up. On the wall in front. In a dusty corner. On a wall in front. In a dusty corner near the notice board. A line of curvy patterns resembling those in a notebook silently awaited our discovery. Underneath, 4 letters were written in pencil. ATPM. 咁咪正咯！呢個故事非常之有懸念咯。咁你覺得你睇完呢本書之後，你就會諗：哎呀，我想讀落去，我好想知 ATPM 解乜鬼啊！我好想知嗰條曲線啊 curve line 係解乜啊？喂，我好想知嘅結局啊！OK。咁呢一個就係呢條題目嘅要求啊！佢唔係要你寫成邊個故事嘅結局出嚟啊 ！OK， 咁啊，當然有好多考生就寫成個故事出嚟，你搞乜啊？咁你個 content organisation 咪扣分咯？佢唔係叫你寫成個故事出嚟，佢叫你寫 first chapter 出嚟啫嘛 ！OK， 咁呢個就係一個非常之好嘅示範啦 ！OK， 今日睇到你好驚，基本上 OK， 好啦，最尾一條。drama，OK，blog post 一個類似網上日誌啦，咁啊可以用 I 啦，可以 informal 少少嘅 ，OK。You are visiting Hong Kong， 你係香港遊客 ，OK， 即係你不是香港人 ，OK。Last night, a friend took you to the new Sea Chu Centre in West Kowloon Cultural District to watch Chinese opera. You didn't think you would like it, but after watching the performance, you changed your mind. Write a blog post for the World Passport, a travel blog about different places and cultures. 咁咧，你寫呢個篇嘢咧，寫邊度咧？係 World Passport。今日應該係俾其他中意旅行嘅人睇啦。OK。Describe your experience. 第一 part， 第二 part，The impact it had on you。留意，佢已經寫個立場俾你啦。第一開始，你本身唔中意嘅 ，OK。然後睇完之後咧，你改變咗你嘅思想啊，你而家中意戲劇啦 ，OK。咁啊， 咁即係點咧？第一就係你一開始你應該講下話 describe your experience，先講下我本身咧我就唔中意睇話劇嘅。我 friend 帶我去睇呢個戲曲嘅時候咧，我就嫌棄嘅，我就話咦唔好睇啦！我中意睇啲西方嘅戲劇啊，我中意睇唔知咩 Carmen 啊，定係唔知咩唔知啊 Hamlet 啊 whatever 啊 OK， 我唔中意睇詩書啊。咁然後你個 friend 逼你去啦咁樣，跟住然後咧有啲咩 impact 咧？你 change your mind， 有啲咩你咁中意咧？可能你中意佢啲 acting 啊，中意佢啲聲型啊，中意佢啲 costume 啊，中意佢嗰啲 plot 啊，係咪啊？咁呢啲咯，某程度上似係寫故事嘅。好，咁睇下嗰個法文啦。好嗱，呢個係一個 blog 啊嘛 ，blog post 啊嘛。今日要有 title 啦。今日你可以寫埋 by Chris Bong posted on 2020年4月27號 whatever 啦，即係你要寫個 posted by 邊個，又或者 on 幾多號啦，呢啲係一個標準嘅格式啦。A night at the Chinese opera, a surprising high note。呢個好意外嘅一個亮點啊 ，OK。Skyscrapers, malls and markets, street food and a harbour. That's what most people think of when you tell them about Hong Kong. Well, that's my first impression too. Until Mary, my longtime pen pal from Hong Kong, took me to the Sichu Centre in West Kowloon Cultural District. At first, I was not convinced. 咁啊好好啦，一開始就話我唔中意啊，我唔中意戲劇啊，唔中意戲曲啊 ，OK。I had visited Hong Kong on several occasions, but never had I stepped into the theatres of Hong Kong. After all, I was not usually interested in plays or concert, let alone traditional opera. I pictured myself sitting uncomfortably in an open area, with no air conditioning, packed in a crowd like a sardine, listening to incomprehensible singing and chanting, just like it is described in tourist guides. The Sichu Centre was probably just a tumble-down building situated in a forgotten corner of the city. I told Mary what I was thinking, but she just smiled. I hated not knowing what to expect. I felt I'd rather go shopping and enjoy a high tea as I had originally planned. And so the day of the opera arrived. Mary told me to get to the West Kowloon Cultural District early. In contrast to what I had imagined, the Sichu Centre stood tall and modern, with a streamlined silhouette. 嗱，留意啦，因為佢講 your experience 啊嘛，咁我一開始就 describe 咩 experience 咧，就係講話點樣去嗰個地方啦 ，OK， 咁啊 tall and modern 啦 ，streamlined silhouette 啦。Dumbfounded, I followed Mary into the building, only to find that we were in a beautiful space with a high ceiling. Mary looked at me, waiting for my comments, but I was so impressed that I could not utter a single word. 哇，好 impressed 啊，讚嘆啊！ We proceeded to look at the exhibition in the atrium. It was only then that I discovered that there are different types of Chinese operas, varying depending on the geographical region and the dialect spoken. Cantonese opera, which we were going to watch that day, was only one of the many varieties. That evening, we watched the famous classic, The Reincarnation of Red Plum. 我唔知咩嚟嘅呢個。Okay. 紅樓夢唔通？我真係唔知喎，咩係 The Reincarnation of Red Plum？ OK。The duration was long even for an opera, and I was concerned that I might doze off halfway through, but I should not have worried. The curtain rose and the protagonist walked on stage. I was dazzled by the extravagantly decorated costumes and set 啦，估到啦，嗰啲戲服啊，嗰個場景好靚啦。As well as the striking makeup on the actors. Mary told me that you can learn a lot about a character in Chinese opera from just their makeup. That was absolutely fascinating to me. I also noticed Chinese musicians playing background music and providing sound effects on stage. 咁啊啲嗰啲樂手啦。It reminded me of orchestras in Western opera performances, though there are fewer musicians on stage for Chinese operas. The best thing was that the theatre offered English subtitles for international visitors like me. So I had no difficulty understanding the plot of the opera. 其實都好流行嘅，即係例如你睇卡門嗰啲咧，都會有英文嘅個 subtitle 嘅。OK。I laughed, gasped, wept and applauded with the audience， 又笑啦，又 O 嘴啦，又喊啦，又拍手啦。OK。When the curtain fell, I did not feel like it had been 4 hours 4個鐘。OK。I felt shocked and amazed as I stepped out of the theatre, shocked by my own ignorance and amazed by the musical and visual。咁你講下你點樣改變你嘅改變啊嘛 ，impact it on you 啊嘛 ，OK。I felt shocked and amazed as I stepped out of the theatre, shocked by my own ignorance。我無知啊我自己 ，amazed by the musical and visual feats I had just experienced。I had learned that one should never underestimate the power of traditional arts and culture。我哋唔應該咧去低估傳統文化嘅力量。I had imagined a boring, backward and appealing performance before the visit, yet reality has shown me that traditional arts could be sophisticated and aesthetically pleasing. The costumes, makeup, music, sound effects, stage set, and script all work together seamlessly to produce an impressive piece of work, reinventing a classic with a new and refined approach. I would not have had such a rich experience if I had gone shopping in a mall or had a high tea at a hotel. I did feel sleepy at one point, but Mary, my local guide, said that was only normal for a piece as lengthy as this. The important thing was that we had tried to understand the beauty of a different culture instead of leaving a great tradition to rust in silence. There was one more thing I reflected upon after the experience. As tourists, we tend to visit tourist attractions that represent only a single facet of a place and are often detached from its cultural roots. OK， 冇忽略文化嘅根源。Even with previous experience of visiting Hong Kong, I was still focused on its food, high-end products, and harbour views. However, to acquire an in-depth understanding of a city, one must delve into history, customs, and traditions, in addition to its main attractions. OK， 要研究歷史啊，研究習俗啊，研究嗰啲風土人情啊咁啦。Watching Chinese opera is something that tourists should definitely try. It may be difficult to comprehend at first and even boring to some, but you'll gain insights and a unique experience regardless. Maybe it's the spectacular costume design, maybe it's the striking music, or maybe it's the world-class design of the theatre. Immerse yourself in another culture while traveling, and you'll find unexpected treasures along the world. 咁along the way 留意啦。佢最尾有俾建議嘅，因為你寫緊個 blog post 俾一個網站啊，個網站就係俾一啲中意旅行嘅人睇啊嘛，咁你可以俾啲建議去其他人啦 ，OK， 嘗試下其他文化啦 ，OK。咁你有乜機會嚟香港嘅話，咁你就睇下嗰啲大戲啦 ，OK。咁呢篇嘢都係寫得非常之 sophisticated， 同埋都係好好嘅 ，OK。好啦，咁咧就個段片嚟到呢度先啦。咁呢段片咧就喺2021年拍嘅。咁未 DSE 啦，咁我就首先估下 DSE 嘅格式先啦。就係我估咧今年2021年咧應該都係用翻1920年咧 bullet point 去認識。原因我已經之前講過啦，就係因為 DSE 嘅考生咧審題嘅能力太過差啦，有啲學生，所以咧佢係會出到點列式咁樣咧去提你，就話你聽你要寫邊啲 point 嘅 ，OK？ 你就一定要搞清楚啦。到底你寫緊咩格式？你寫嘅對象係乜嘢？你了解個對象係咩嘅話咧，其實你嘅 language 你就會留意好多。到底你應該寫 hi 啊，到底應該寫 I am going to 啊呢啲咧，你諗下你寫俾邊個咧，你已經知道你應該點樣寫㗎啦。OK， 呢個係其一啦。第二，你19年同20年咧嗰個點列式咧個分別咧都有啲分別嘅。個分別就係咧19年咧佢係每一個嘅genre 都會提你要寫 title。OK， speech feature article essay。嗰啲佢全部都有提你寫一個 title 嘅，咁但係2020年咧，佢係冇提到你寫 title 嘅，因為可能 考評局覺得太淺啦，佢唔想再提你 ，OK， 咁啊 OK 啦 ，fine 啦 ，OK， 咁你就要小心啲啦，知道邊啲嘢要睇到，邊啲嘢唔使睇到啦。In general，個 rule 咧就係、基本上如果你寫緊一篇文章嘅話咧，即係嗱 book report 啊、proposal 啊、feature article 啊、news report 啊、blog post 啊、essay 啊、argumentative essay 呢啲我全部都當文章啦，籠統地講。基本上咧，你有睇圖嘅，你冇睇圖咧係會扣分嘅。OK，letter 可以唔需要有睇圖，但係subject line 咧，又或者有係會好啲嘅，冇都唔會扣分嘅。OK，咁啊 letter 仲需要一啲下款，你需要先寫啲職銜嗰啲啦。咁啊唔提啦，咁啊應該識㗎啦。留意翻條題目有冇啲 hidden requirement 啦。咁啊17年到20年都有啲 hidden requirement 啦。例如 Part A， 佢有好多嘢咧，其實佢係類似故事形式啲嘅，但係佢都需要有啲 hidden requirement 咧，即係佢唔會每樣嘢你應該要寫，佢都會提你咯。即係例如你寫一個餐廳個食評，你係咪好應該講下個餐廳喺邊一區咧？係咪啊？你係咪好應該講下個餐廳係 serve 咩食物咧？又或者你講翻例如18年啦，去天仔100啦，你去帶學生去參觀啦，你係咪好應該講下個參觀係幾多號咧？幾多點出發咧？幾多點返學校咧？呢啲嘅 requirement 咧，佢唔會講到出面俾你聽嘅，但係你係好需要去了解嘅。第三，留意條題目咧，俾任何嘅一啲資料你，或者俾一啲嘅圖畫俾你咧。你都一定係需要加以分析嘅。其實你諗下就知道㗎啦。唔係每一條題目咧都需要俾一啲圖畫或者俾一啲嘅 quote 俾你㗎。但佢俾得你，當然你就需要去加以分析，或者甚至係 base on某一啲嘅字眼去加以去詳細去解釋啦。即係例如，如果佢俾歌詞你嘅，咁當然你篇作文就係要 base on啲歌詞去寫啦。佢俾一個例子你，咁當然你係 base on個例子去寫啦。正如2020年佢有啲益昌大廈啊，又或者創村咁樣，你都要 base on嗰啲去寫啦，係咪先？咁啊，千祈唔好咧，就佢俾咗啲嘢你就完全唔提，咁啊極差嘅。OK， 第四。都不厭其煩再講一次啦。議論文咧就需要3個 point 啦。咁啊其他嘅話就你睇翻個要求啦。其實佢而家點面式咁咧，已經覺得非常之清楚邊一 part 你要寫啲乜嘢㗎啦。即係你已經冇藉口再話我唔知點樣寫㗎啦。OK， 呢個唔係藉口，因為已經係太容易啦。你冇可能唔識㗎啦，嚟到呢個 moment。OK， 係啦。咁啊，另外有啲就係我哋呢一個嘅段片冇機會同你講到㗎啦。OK， 時間分配啦，好好地分配時間啦。留意 Part A 同 Part B 嘅長度咧，應該係佢話就話係200，一個就200、400啦。但你有留心睇下我哋嘅一個段片嘅話，都有發現咧，Part A 閒啲佢都寫350字嘅。Part B 閒地咧，佢都寫翻個600字，有時仲要寫到成1000幾字添啊！嗰個故事。咁啊，如果你 aim for 高分嘅話咧，你個作文咧就千祈唔可以太短。OK， 如果你淨係寫200字、400字嘅話咧，基本上你係冇乜可能攞到高分嘅。高分嘅意思係 level 5或以上。OK， 咁啊作議論文你就可以做一啲嘅例子啦。咁啊，正如都講過話，英文嘅作文其實佢對於呢個例子嘅真實性唔係。即係比中文同埋通識科少啦，咁樣。咁啊，所以就小心啲啦。咁啊，最尾咧就係都知道而家就 DSE 佢而家出咗改革 ，OK。咁啊，嚟緊咧可能英文咧就已經冇 elective 呢樣嘢啦，就可能變到 compulsory 就已經有晒所有嘢啦。咁啊甚至係佢而家講緊話呢個題目係會由8條，sorry 係9條。減到去得3至4條啦，俾你揀啦，即係去翻以前呢個 A level 啊、CE 嘅年代啊，得個1、2條揀啊。咁啊，好處唔好處係咩咧？咁啊，好處就係當然你少啲嘢温啦，因為我相信如果你而家 study leave 嘅話咧，你應該係揀定2、3個你自己有 能力或者有信心去揀嘅一個topic 啦，然後你不停背嗰啲 topic 嘅一啲 key phrases 啦，即係例如 social issues 好明顯你嗰啲 collective memory 啊、childhood memory 啊、咩 rant 啊嗰啲係嗰啲 hit topic 你一定係中㗎嘛，係咪？咁你要背啦。咁但係好明顯，因為而家佢已經唔係呢支笛啦，已經唔係跟住呢個呢一個嘅elective 去寫啦。咁我相信你已經冇需要再去跟 elective 去背嗰啲某啲字啦。咁相反，可能你要更加留意咧，就係嗰啲格式唔同格式嘅要求啦。即係例如你 argumentative essay 有啲咩嘅標準嘅格式你要背咧。一開始你要寫introduction 你要寫講下 general background 啊，然後你講下正面正方反方啦，然後你講下你自己嘅立場啊。咁呢啲我相信無論係有 elective 好啦，冇 elective 又好啦，點嘅情況都好啦，你都係一定會用得着嘅。咁呢啲就係你真係需要去做嘅嘢咯。OK。咁最尾就祝大家準備緊 DSE 嘅考生啊，加油啦！OK。